He went from Division II basketball to one of the most unlikely stars in NBA history, but whatever happened to Ben Wallace? In order to carve out a good career in the NBA, the most necessary skill is putting the ball in the basket. If you're unable to even somewhat competently score, you're likely destined for a short career, usually as a role player. That is, unless you are Ben Wallace. At nearly every level of competition, Ben was practically a non-factor on the offensive side. It's a big reason why he was given no recruiting attention while in high school, in the small impoverished town of Whitehall, Alabama. That being said, Ben was named an All-State in basketball, football, and baseball while in high school. And while attending a basketball camp in 1991, he was discovered by Charles Oakley, who was known for his defensive prowess. Oakley began mentoring Ben, seeing his monstrous potential on the defensive side. Following high school, Wallace attended Cuyahoga Community College in Cleveland for 2 years, and Ben absolutely dominated the junior college circuit, averaging 17 rebounds and 7 blocks per game. Following the 2-year stint, Ben would transfer to Oakley's alma mater, Virginia Union College, a Division II program. After 2 years of similarly dominating Division II, Ben was still given no attention from the NBA. At 6'9", Wallace was considered an undersized center, and his lack of offense was even more of a red flag. So Ben decided to travel overseas to play professionally in Italy, where he played 1 game. Finally, the Washington Bullets would take notice of Ben, signing him for the 1996-97 season. After receiving limited minutes in his rookie season, Wallace became a full-time part of the rotation in his sophomore season. That year, Ben showcased his difference-making defensive capabilities, and would gain even more minutes in his 3rd season, as it quickly became clear that even his offensive deficiencies could not keep him off the floor. Following that season, Wallace would be dealt to Orlando, where he'd become a full-time starter. But after just 1 season, Ben would again be dealt, this time to Detroit. It was there where Wallace went from defensive first role player to a superstar. During the 01-02 season, Wallace's 2nd season with Detroit, he led the league in both blocks and rebounds per game, en route to the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year award. Wallace was unlike any other superstar in the league. While guys like Kobe, T-Mac, and Iverson would put up 30 points per game, Ben captivated fans with his stifling defense and tenacious effort. I mean, Ben made it fun to watch defense, as he would routinely shut down the game's best offensive weapons. He possessed a grit and tireless work ethic that came as a product of the environment that he grew up in, and of course the journey he took to get to the NBA. Ben was able to dominate games simply by outworking everyone else on the court. It also helped that he was easily the strongest player in the entire NBA. Wallace would repeat as the Defensive Player of the Year in the 2002-2003 season, but his crowning achievement came in the following season. That year, Wallace anchored the defense of the Pistons and propelled them to an NBA title over Kobe and Shaq. While that Pistons team had a number of great players, Wallace was the team's centerpiece, despite averaging under 10 points per game. This showed the league that not only a defensive ace could be a superstar, but he could also lead a team to a championship. Wallace would play 7 more seasons before retiring from the NBA. Across his career, he would win 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, make 4 All-Star teams, and 5 All-NBA teams, all while failing to ever average more than 10 points per game, and finishing his career as the worst free throw shooter in league history. In 2016, Ben had his number retired by the Pistons, and in 2021, Ben became the first player in 40 years to be elected to the Naismith Hall of Fame. That same year, he was hired by the Pistons to serve as a basketball operations and team engagement advisor. Today, Ben's impact on basketball cannot be understated, as he's inspired players such as Draymond Green and others like him, and he'll forever be remembered as not only one of the league's best defenders, but as one of the most unlikely legends the sport has ever seen.